I remember the sun was shining, it was warm out, and the call comes out that there's shots fired at Cici's Pizza.
Receiving a 415A at Nellis and Stewart at Cici's.
I was probably about a mile away.
George 2, Cheyenne and the Boulevard.
And as I was driving there, the radio traffic started to come in.
Cedar 6 copy. All we have at this time is there's 2 victims inside the business.
2 people possibly down at the Cici's Pizza.
Officer Brett Brosnahan arrives at Cici's Pizza first. When he does, the people that are standing outside immediately start telling him that the bad guy has run across the street towards the direction of Walmart.
And he is the rear of the store, rear of the store.
I ran south across Stewart, past a little strip mall where more people were standing and screaming and pointing, south again, which then brought me around to the backside of the Walmart.
So I remember the dispatcher saying, suspects went in the front of Walmart. Okay, and I start to think like them, okay, if I go in the front of Walmart, I'm not gonna come out the front.
Officer Brosnahan arrives, and when he does, he gets to the rear entrance of Walmart, and he has numerous people pointing him in the direction of the rear door saying, the bad guy's in there, the bad guy's in there.
Just as I was seeing this and starting to get a handle on what was going on, asking people what's going on inside, dispatch gets on the radio and calls out the active shooter inside Walmart.
We have an active shooter inside the business, 201 North Nellis.
It was at that point I was able to finally grab an employee of Walmart and ask, who is it, where are they, what's going on? And he goes, man, someone's inside killing everybody. Here, I'll show you where. And without further conversation, that employee just took off and ran back inside Walmart, so I ran in with him.
He led him through where the storage place was and how he could go and put Brett directly where the threat was. He did a great job of using the walls that he had as cover and the aisleways as concealment to then find his way where he encounters the female.
I thought in those few hundredths of a second, why is this woman standing here? Why is she not leaving? Why is she not running? Why is she still shopping? Because she had a shopping cart with her. She should be out of Walmart like everyone else. In that moment, her left hand started to raise in my direction, and I could tell this is a gun. There's not just one person, there's 2, and I've found number 2. I'd already swept past her with my weapon, anticipating that long shot. So at that point, I started to sweep back towards her. As I did, I started to fire. Simultaneously, she started to fire. At that moment, I didn't know if I had hit her or not. I didn't know if I had been hit or not. And as I'm engaged in this gunfight with her, the male that I was anticipating to come out had come out, and he's now running in our direction.
While that's happening, we have other units then arriving at the front doors of Walmart.
We made entry into the front of the store. As soon as we made entry into the front of the store, that's when we heard the first volley of gunfire going off. And later on, we found out that that's when Officer Brosnahan was engaging with the female in the back.
But Officer Troy Nickel immediately recognized that he was going to have a responsibility of the job that saves lives. He's not going to get to put handcuffs on anybody, but he is going to get our officers out of Walmart safe.
I told Officer Huff, I got to get to the camera room.
Because at that point, not hearing any of the gunshots when I was inside Walmart initially, not hearing any screaming, not seeing anyone running around, and not having a back, I know that I can't stay in a 2-on-1 gun battle and succeed. So I chose to disengage at that moment. I went back the same direction that I came.
I pull my police vehicle up to the back. I jump out. At this time, I run to Officer Brosnahan.
We came up to make entry into the camera room. It's a cement wall, steel frame, steel door. I remember reaching down and grabbing my radio, and I got on the radio, and I said on the radio, I need somebody with a key to the surveillance room. And that's when Ryan Fryman said, I have your key. And he commenced to kick in the door.
That's all I knew at the time, that we're going in. I don't know when anybody else was going in. I knew at the time, at that minute and a half, we were inside the store.
When we went into the double doors, I covered down what I guess would be to the far northwest corner.
Yeah, I've worked in that Walmart before, and I've ran them cameras before. They had a little cheat sheet that's at the side of it. It wasn't there. With it not being there, it kind of put me into a position where I couldn't move any of the cameras around, except the camera that was up on the main screen. I grabbed a hold of the camera and zoomed in, and that's when I found that it was Sergeant McKenzie.
They located me in the store, and I kind of motioned to where the suspects were. I believe that helped them out a lot because they were able to pick them up within seconds.
So I asked for somebody on the outside if there was anybody outside that could run the cameras.
Do we have a security officer that can come into the security office and run these cameras?
So I went back out by myself to the front doors, and that's when we grabbed Roderick, that works for Walmart, and I told the people that brought him up, I says, we have to form a human shield around him. We have to get him into the camera rooms to run the cameras.
Sergeant McKenzie had a very tough job because as he went the other direction, he runs into a whole group of civilians that were sheltered in place. And he didn't know if they were good guys or bad guys and how he was going to get them out in a safe manner as well.
As I confront them, I show them, I'm going to tell them, let me see your hands. You know, I can see the fear of God in these people. At this time, I realized that they're not the suspect. They're just caught in the store just like everybody else. I told them I'm going to get them out of here as soon as I can. But I need you guys to be as quiet as you can. Just stay there.
It was pretty difficult to, watch them civilians going out of the store while gunfire was still going on, and I imagine it's pretty traumatic for them as well.
They did hear gunfire. It was consistent gunfire, and from what direction they weren't sure yet. So when they went into Walmart, he makes the tactical decisions that they are also going to split in the directions that they go.
We go in between the aisles, so we're in between the two end caps of the aisles, inside the aisle, and my radio blares. It goes shh, and as soon as that happens, we start getting gunfire.
Hey, give me the radio. We have shots fired inside the store. Hold your radio traffic.
It was pretty hard to be able to sit there and watch the movements of the suspects and watch them pointing the guns at, my brothers.
Two officers had long guns, Officer Tim Gross and Officer Zach Beal, and they were able to set up in positions of cover that gave them tactical advantages to where they could engage the suspect and also keep themselves safe.
So basically where the suspects were at was at the intersecting part of an L, more so, with Corbin and Bethard on one side, me and Tim on the other, and then Sergeant McKenzie right in the middle, so they pretty much had nowhere to go.
By this time, my guys are up and running the camera room.
Officer Nickel and Officer Fryman are able to work those cameras and give immediate real-time updates to our cops inside Walmart as to where the threat is, what they're doing, and in what direction they're shooting.
And we actually had a conversation, Ryan and I did, inside the camera room, and we told each other, hey, we have to be calm, we have to be cool and collective on giving this information out so that the officers on the floor feel comforted.
I was sitting in the double door, and he shot a couple rounds, sucked back in real quick, and I knew he was moving, and then I heard the shopping cart roll and hit the aisle, and I'm like, oh, he's out in the open, this is my chance. And I sidestepped real quick, and as soon as I had sidestepped and I had a clear view of the aisle, he was reaching down to grab like a plastic tire jack, something you would drive your car up to change the oil. He was grabbing that, he sees me, lifts up his gun, and he's in a crouching motion. He starts firing, and as soon as he started firing, I had my EOTech, which is my optic, rested right on his chest, and I squeezed the trigger.
The shot is taken, and really it's the shot that saves the day.
Tim grabs me, pulls me back in, and I'm like, I think I hit him. And he's like, yeah, and then that's when I heard Officer Nickel come over the radio, hey, he's down.
All right, copy. We have two suspects that are down.
Every day before June 8th, I was really excited to be at Northeast because it's a great place to learn and develop as a new supervisor or a new officer because we get action calls every day.
On June 8th, I've talked to many people about it. It was devastating, obviously, and it felt, for me, like I lost my innocence in a way.
No leader ever thinks they're going to send out 12 and bring back 10. And on that day, not all of my men got to come home.
We hurt. Like I said, we hurt as a department, as an agency, as a community. But I could only imagine what their family feels like.
I think mostly about Alan and Igor. I think about their kids, their wives, their families, how this is just completely devastated.
it's tough. But both Alan and Igor were great friends of mine.
Truth be told, they will live in our hearts forever. But I couldn't be more proud of the actions that my men and women took on that day. From training to the way they conducted themselves, to just truly the things that they did to support each other to get through those moments.
They were great warriors. And I know that in my heart that they would want me to continue to fight.
The bonds and the friendships that were born on June 8th will never die. And Alan Beck and Igor Soldo will motivate us, will help us strive to reach a new level of excellence, and will keep our agency remembering their legacies forever.
I'd give everything back right now so those two dudes could be walking the face of the earth again.